Hello, I'm Jennifer Cassinson with Build Exact, and we're here today with Mindy Lepp from Lepp Design, who will be presenting on 18 digital marketing tools and tips to implement today. So we're going to have some great action items that you can take away. We're going to get started in just a few minutes and let people come into the room, but like I said, we'll just give it just a couple minutes before we hand it over to Mindy. Hello, and thanks again for joining us today. I'm Jennifer Castinson with Build Exact, and we're here with Mindy Lepp, who's the marketing director for Lepp Design. And Lepp Design offers all types of design and marketing services, and they're in sunny Florida, but serves clients all across the country. You may have seen Mindy present before. I've been in some of her presentations in the audience before. Has some great advice for you in terms of marketing that she's going to be talking about today. She has 18 tips and tricks that she'll be running through that you can put into action today. So no need to take notes. We'll be recording this and we'll be able to send it to you afterwards. And in terms of questions, please send any of your questions via the chat and we can address your questions as they come in. So we'll be able to ask Mindy and get a response right away. So please, in the chat or the Q&A box, whichever you're more comfortable with. So we'll be monitoring both of those. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. And thank you so much, Mindy. And I will pass it over to you so we can get started.
All right, thanks, Jennifer. Appreciate it. And I'm excited to share with you all some of my favorite marketing tools and tips for you all to implement today. So let's get started. Jennifer already did a quick intro about our company, but as you know, my name is Mindy Lepp, and my husband and I run a marketing firm with a specific niche in the building industry. So we have a lot of clients that are home builders, remodelers, and other trades that we help with their overall marketing. We're going to dive right in with our first tool, and fair warning for you all, you're going to see a lot of Google tools today. I would say maybe 1/3 of my list is actually Google tools. And I just can't resist. Most of them are free, and there's really no other competition for some of these tools besides what Google has to offer. And they've got a team of people working around the clock to give us such helpful tools. So let's talk first about Google Analytics. So Google Analytics gives you really helpful stats specifically about your website. And this is really the only way that you can make your website better, is to be able to see what is and isn't working and how people are behaving with your website. I love this quote. It's half the money I spend on advertising is wasted. The trouble is I don't know which half. So tools like Google Analytics and other statistical tools will help you to hopefully see what half is being wasted so you can refine your efforts and make sure you're spending money in the right places. These are a few of the stats that you can gather from Google Analytics. The first is what they call number of users. It's really just another way of saying people. So you can see how many people visited your website each month. You can also see what their average time is being spent on your website. So obviously you want that to be high. You don't want that to be average time 10 seconds. You want that to be at least a minute or more. The more, the merrier, because that means they're really engaging with your site and they're going to multiple pages. The next stat that is really helpful is what pages on your website are most popular. One of my clients, I kept checking their Google Analytics stats and I saw there's this one blog post that is consistently killing it month after month. And so we said, okay, people love that blog post. And it's even coming up in national searches, not just even local searches. So how do we do more blog posts like that blog post? So that's where it can be really helpful. Another time I saw, oh, people keep visiting the staff page. So let's make sure that that staff page is really good because people are really gravitating towards that page. And you can also see where your traffic is coming from. And that goes along kind of with the stat we were just talking about, because you can see, okay, where is that coming from? And if this is working, I'm going to keep doing that. So the first stat is direct traffic. That means somebody knows who you are, knows what your website is, and they're typing it into their browser directly. The next category is called organic searches, and that means somebody was searching something in Google or Bing for your services, and your website came up in a search result and they clicked it. And then you're also going to see referral traffic. Referral traffic is any other website online that has your link on it, and then people are clicking there to go to your site. One of my clients is a home builder, and I was checking their referral traffic at the end of one of the months, and I saw, why is this local steakhouse bringing in, I can't remember what it was, but a pretty impressive number of traffic to the site each month. And I checked it out, went to their website, and I saw that they had a little page of, thank you to local companies, and that home builder was on that steakhouse's website. So you never know where your referral traffic from. And then the last one is kind of self-explanatory, but social, for social media. So it could either be your social media profile or somebody else in social media sharing about your site. And then the last one is geographical numbers, which is really helpful as well to see, okay, if, people are looking at my site, why is that? And how can I capitalize on that? All right, this is a screenshot of just a blank Google Analytics profile, just so you can kind of see what it would look like. That blue bar across is usually a graph that goes up and down to show you how much traffic you get per month. And this is really helpful to see, like, as a snapshot, just the up and down graph there. Again, another example, one of my clients, I was looking at their traffic from one month to the next before meeting with them, and I saw a drastic drop in traffic from one month to the next. This is one that we just do website work for. And I asked them, I said, hey, I saw that your website visits were about half from this month to this month. And do you know why that is the case? And they said, oh, well, we stopped sending out our direct mail piece in that month. And I said, okay, well, there you have it. You really need to start that back up, because we're looking at the stats here, and that's giving us very helpful information that that was working, and you want to keep doing it. So that's where you can really turn those stats around and help you do what is working for your business. The next tool that I really like to use is called Google Search Console. And now there's really 3 different versions of Google Search Console. There's one that is integrated into Google Analytics. There's one that's a standalone version, and then there's this beta version. I prefer this one right here. It gives me some overlap of stats and things that I can get from Google Analytics, but it amps it up a little bit higher. It gives me a little bit more information. So I'm going to show you some of the things that I can get from Google Search Console. And so this tool, it intuitively knows what your website is about just by scanning the website, and it knows what your ideal keywords are. And it's going to show you, hey, your average ranking for this phrase for custom home builder is 20, or your, average ranking for this is that. I use that for one of my clients where it really was helpful. They do fireplaces. And one time I looked in Google Search Console and I saw that for the phrase fireplace builder, their average result on Google was, I think, 30. And I'm like, oh, but that makes sense because I never built any pages that were specifically optimized for fireplace builder. We had fireplace contractor and fireplace remodeler and fireplace, all these other pages, but nothing specifically together fireplace builder. So then I went on the website, made a page for fireplace builder, and boom, it was a few months later, we saw it jump up. I think I want to say the number 3 or something like that. Now that's an extreme example. Don't think that's going to happen every time. It's just lots of stars aligned for that one to work. But that's how you can utilize that stat. It's also going to tell you, it kind of goes hand in hand. The first two is going to tell you where you stand, like I said, on search engine results. It'll tell you how your most recent content is performing, and then also what your most popular content is, which you can get both of those stats also from Google Analytics, but it's kind of nice to see them all here on Google Search Console. The next tool, again, like I said, lots of Google. We'll get some other ones soon, but this one is Google Trends. If you go to trends.google.com, it's going to show you what is trending right now in searches. I checked it last night just so I could give you some fresh information. And what was trending last night was the football game between the Bengals and the Jaguars, which is close actually to where I live right here. And also Trevor Lawrence's injuries, in case you want to know trends. That was what's going on right now. But we obviously want to know, how do we use this for business? You can use it for business by putting into trends a phrase that is applicable to your business. And then it's going to give you some suggestions and information on what is trending for your specific industry. So for instance, I put in there home builder, and it showed me these were the top 5 states right now that are searching for a home builder. So that's helpful information. If you're in one of those states, okay, good. My state is booming for whatever reason in Google Trends. All right, this next tool. This tool right here, out of all the tools on my list, is my absolute favorite and my best friend when it comes to tools that I use. It's called Yoast SEO, SEO standing for Search Engine Optimization. And this is only a tool that's good for WordPress. So I'm sorry if you don't have a WordPress website, you can't use it. But if you do, this tool, I tell people that it's basically like your own personal search engine optimization tutor that sits next to you while you're writing your website content, and it tells you how to fix your problems in real time. So I'm going to show you a screenshot here of a dummy page that I set up just so that you could see what you would see if you were in this tool. So you would put right here on the left side where it says focus key phrase. Okay, what's your phrase that you would like someone to type in to bring up this page? And I said, okay, which home remodeling projects are the most valuable? That's what I want someone to search for and get my page. And then we're going to see on the right side, I have a little green smiley face. So it means that mine is optimized enough for me to press publish. But if you look down a little bit, there are some things I can fix. The first one being outbound links, so that it's telling me, hey, you didn't link to any other websites. I don't always do that because I like to keep people on my site. So that one most of the time is a problem area for me. It gives me my grade at the end. But if it makes sense, link elsewhere. And then it's telling me, hey, your key phrase, it's not in your first paragraph of your content. It needs to be in the first paragraph. So you want to go change that. It also helps you know how many times you said your key phrase in your paragraph or content rather, whether it's too little or too much. So that's super helpful. Every time I use it, I'm almost always just a little bit off. I might have said it a couple too many times or not enough times. And then you have to go back and kind of sift through and edit the text a little bit to make sure that you're not overdoing it on your keywords or underutilizing those keywords. So this next tool, I think probably a lot of us are familiar with Grammarly already and might not even think of it necessarily as a marketing tool. But if you're writing anything for your marketing, whether it's your website or a social media post, or you're writing something for a brochure, it's very important to have good grammar. If you don't, people will notice, and it definitely diminishes your impression or your presentation of your company if you have bad grammar or mistakes, typos, things like that. So use Grammarly. There's an extension that you can put on your browser. So anytime you're writing anything, if it's, a social media post or anything like that, it'll show you right away if you need to fix anything. This is Grammarly's website that I went on to just to do a little test here so you can see what you might see if you put your text on there. So I wrote, this is the content that I'm writing for the Build Exact webinar that teaches about 18 digital marketing tools, blah, blah, blah. So you're going to see, hey, your clarity could be improved, your correctness, you have a couple typos or misuse of words. The engagement, I've got a good grade there. Deliveries, I've got a good grade. So it's really helpful for you to be able to revise your content that you're writing, again, no matter what the platform is. There is a free version, I believe, of Grammarly that you can use where it's this sort of platform where you go up and upload your content, and then it's going to give you suggestions. And then I believe the paid version is the one where you can have it attached to your browser to give you real time, as you're typing in your websites or anything else. This next tool I also use a lot. There are multiple versions of this tool. So if you just go on the web and you search keyword research tool, you'll see a bunch of different ones that you can pick from. This one right here is Ubersuggest, and it's one of the more popular ones. And just while I'm here, this neilpatel.com, he is kind of the master of SEO. So if you want to get some more information about search engine optimization tips and things like that, I would recommend signing up for his e-newsletter and checking out his social media accounts. I've gotten a lot of really helpful information from his website. But let's get to the tool that he has. So this keyword research tool, the way that I use it, let me go to the next screen here, is I use it in my brainstorming process when I'm trying to figure out what I want to write about in a blog post for a client. So this one I said, hey, how to find a builder. That's probably a good topic that we want to write about for a blog post. And what you want to look for in these tools is you want there to be a good amount of search volume. So enough people searching for it where it makes sense for you to write a blog post about it. And then you want your competition for ranking for that phrase to be somewhat low, right? You want lots of people searching, not that many people with website pages on that topic, because then you have a better chance of winning and coming up, right? So the one that I thought was going to be pretty good, you'll see here in that first column where it says volume, I only got 90 searches per month. That's not very good. You want to have at least a few hundred, if not 1,000, but I'll take a few hundred. It's worth it for me if it were, somewhere in the 500 range. And then that last column is that difficulty competition, where it says SEO difficulty in the pinkish column there. So I'm going to see right here, okay, I've got 90 searches per month already. I'd probably nix it out, but then you see your SEO difficulty is around 70. I want to stay somewhere around 60 or below. So 70's pushing it for me. So I'm going to nix that. I don't want to write it now about that topic. So now I'm going to look at their suggestions. Sometimes it makes a huge difference just changing the order of a couple words or making something plural. It's sometimes remarkable. Like one time, you'll put this on here and then you'll see a suggestion like that's basically the same thing, but that's plural and it's got way more searches or way less competition. So it's really helpful to use this tool. So let's see, what would I have done then? So how to get a builder's permit, a good amount of volume, but that's going to just get other builders. So I don't want to write that. How to find a builder of a home though, and the other ones underneath it, how to find a home builder, how to find builders of a home. Those are about 500 search volume. That's much better. And then also the SEO difficulty is low. So win-win in both columns there. So I'm going to then write it probably about one of those three choices there. This is the second page of result I would have gotten. How to find a builder with subdivision. You see it kind of goes down lower and lower of my volume here. And hey, how to get a bodybuilder body. If you want to write about that too, that's there. Alrighty. This next tool, I will say this tool and ChatGPT are the two most fun tools on this list right here. So this tool allows you to basically record people's website sessions. You're not going to obviously see their face or get their personal information or anything like that, but you're going to see a screen recording exactly of what their behavior is on your website. This is really helpful from a usability standpoint. So one of my clients, I just installed it on their website about 2 or 3 weeks ago. And in the first week, we were looking at the recordings and we saw, oh, people on mobile devices keep trying to click the address that's at the bottom footer of the website to try to go see the model home of that home builder. And we didn't have it clicked and linked to a Google map. It was just straight text. So I went in and changed, made that clickable, made that go to Google Maps. So that was really helpful for me to be able to see that information. These two right here, again, there's more options for session recording, but these two, Mouse Flow and Full Story, are a couple that I know of. So here's some of the things that it records for you. It records your movement. So you're going to see their cursor going across the screen. Okay. The second one, which is, I say, one of the most important, is the clicks. What are they trying to click on? Because that helps you from, like I said, a usability standpoint. See, oh, they keep trying to click on that. I need to make that clickable. And then you can see how they scroll through your page. So you might see, okay, on the home page, people are whizzing past this area, which I thought everybody was going to love reading, but apparently they don't. And then this area, I didn't think people cared about, but everyone's stopping on that. So they're probably reading that. So it helps you, again, like I said, switch things up, make things improved based on what you see there. The last one is forms. So again, you're not going to see their personal information, but you're going to see little asterisks of them typing on your contact forms. The reason this is important is because you can see at what point are people bailing on your forms. I see this a lot where people have too many questions on their contact form. And so you might say, oh, well, people keep bailing after question number 12. So I probably want to reduce some of those questions on my contact form. So they're actually going to press submit, and contact me. And this was just a little screenshot of their demo. That pink circle is where my cursor is. And then over there on the bottom, with that little tiny black circle where it says try to click me, that was where I was trying to click on the demo here for that session recording. All right, this next tool, this one is really helpful for home builders. And this helps people to, I'm just going to go to the next slide here so you can see it visually. It helps people to go on your website and be able to essentially build, customize their home by themselves. And you might think, oh, but we're eliminating the salesperson or something like that. but this tool is amazing. People really weave their hearts into these houses once they've customized it little by little. And it's a really great tool. Jennifer, did you have something that you want to add to this?
Yes, I'm so sorry to interrupt. Your audio got a little bit funky, and so I just wanted to see if you could straighten it out before you keep going.
Yes, thank you for letting me know. Let me try this other audio. Is this better?
Yeah, sounds better. Thank you.
Okay, thanks for letting me know. All right, so this online home customization tool, so you put on your website and you upload your floor plans, your elevation, all the information about each kind of home that you sell. And people are going to go on there and see in real time, okay, I'm going to add a summer kitchen and I'm going to add a fireplace or a tubless master bath. And each time they click these options, it's going to add it to the right side of their screen so they can see visually what that would look like to that floor plan. This home customization tool, they said that people spend on average about 2 hours in this tool customizing their house. So think about all that time that they're spending dreaming about that house. It's going to be really hard for them to let that go if they go to your competitor's website and all we have is just some flat images, of floor plans, or maybe not even any floor plans at all. So this is a really great tool to just intertwine their emotions with your specific home builder company. I'm going to show you a couple other things here about this one. So you can, depending on how you set it up, they can change their shutter colors, maybe even their roof color, things like that. They could even use their lot, so they can go pretty far in the process just on their own there. Okay. Canva. So Canva, again, this is probably a tool that most of us already know about and are familiar with, but it's a really great tool to be able to create quick, simple graphic design or social media type posts. Now, we're a marketing firm, we are a graphic design firm, so I'm very particular about making sure that people follow it's called your brand, guidelines, your style guide and things like that. So I don't recommend going on Canva and just going buck wild and, your company colors are green and brown and you go on there and create a purple flyer or things like that. So you need to talk to your graphic designer and make sure that you have some sort of template to work with, something that they're overseeing, but it's really helpful. Specifically, I use it for like social media videos because it makes it really simple. I can upload a couple photos and make it into a slideshow in way less time than doing it from some other platform. So that's why I really like to use Canva for that. Okay, Google Docs and spreadsheets. Again, this is another one on the list that you might not necessarily think is a digital marketing tool, but anything I would say that makes your life easier from a marketing perspective is a marketing tool. And for me, I live in Google Docs. I use it all the time as kind of like a brainstorming, open document that I can throw ideas at, and I can have my clients go in there and ask questions. They'll type it right in the document and we can all be on the same page. So it's really helpful from that point of view. But anything like this or any other sort of project management software is just really helpful. So you're not chasing down 50 emails, about one topic and you can't find all the information you need. You can keep it all in one place with Google Docs and spreadsheets. So, all right, we're going to talk now just for a little bit about Google Maps. It's very important to make sure that your Google Maps profile is properly optimized so that people can find your company. Step one is making sure that you have access to manage your Google Maps account. So go on Google Maps if you haven't already, type in your company name and see has Google already auto-generated your maps listing? If it has already auto-generated your maps listing and you have not claimed it, I'm sorry. It's a pain to claim it. They changed things, I want to say about a year or so ago, to where when you claim your Google Maps listing, you actually have to, with your cell phone video camera, give Google like a live tour basically of your company, and you have to like show them, I've got the key, I really own this company, and let me open the front door and show them like your mailbox and all these things. So it's a bit of a pain, but it's worth it. You want to be able to manage your Google Maps account. So step one, claim it or create one if there isn't one already there. Or maybe you claimed it 5 years ago and you haven't touched it. Today I'm telling you, go in and edit it. So here's some of the things, excuse me, that you want to go in and do to your Google Maps. The first thing I like to do with my clients is to post, it's called an update on a weekly basis. It can be something as simple as just posting a photo of a project that you just completed and saying, oh, this turned out beautifully. Just post a photo. You can also post a little snippet from a blog post and have an image and say, read more, just one paragraph, just something to keep it up to date. And then also try to make sure that you're adding photos on a regular basis, and filling that out. They like when you're adding and making, updates to your account. And then try to continually get reviews on your page. We are in the age of reviews. I know all of us do it, whether it's a restaurant, a spa, a hotel, whatever it is, we're all looking at reviews. So if your reviews are poor, you've only got 3 reviews and you got 3 stars and you've been in business for 40 years, you want to try to fix that, because that's going to be red flags. Is my audio messing
No,
up
your
again?
audio is perfect.
Okay.
I have a question for you. So,
Yes.
in getting the reviews, how do you solicit them? How do you incentivize people to actually take the time to give you a review? And then second of all, how do you protect yourself from maybe a negative review that doesn't really reflect on the services or the business that you're offering?
That's a really good question. So the first one is how to get more reviews. So I'll tell you that Google, in their terms and conditions, so that you cannot incentivize your customers to give a review. So you can't say something like, give us a review on Google and get a $5 coupon, or give us a review on Google to be entered in a chance to win blah, blah, blah prize. They don't like people doing that because they feel like it skews your reviews a bit and people are just motivated, for the prize, which makes sense. And we all know that there's lots of Google reviews out there that are not following the rules, and there's, a lot of bogus reviews. But they do say that you shouldn't do that. But what you can do is incentivize your employees by, if they're able to get a good review, then you'll give them some sort of incentive. So one of my clients, they were a roofing company, and they said that every time they finish a project, the project manager who was on site at that time would say, okay, Mrs. Smith, thank you so much for your business. Is there anything else that we could have done to make you give us a 5-star review on Google? And if Mrs. Smith says, oh, no, you did wonderful, then he says, well, can I text you then a link to our Google reviews to give us a review? That would really help us out so much. And then usually they say yes. So then you're going to text them the direct link right in that moment while they're glowing and super happy about what you just finished with them. And then if the owner of the company would see, oh, Billy, just got that review because that was his job, then Billy would get, a $10 gift card to Starbucks or whatever it was. And so that motivated the employees to make sure that they were always asking that at the end of each project. And that really worked for her. I saw a lot of good reviews over a very short period of time, and for her just doing that. So that's something that you can do to get reviews. And then Jennifer also asked, how do you manage bad reviews? So that's one way that that same scenario, like if Mrs. Smith says, well, actually, I'm not really happy because you guys took a week to do it and you said it was going to take 2 days, et cetera, then they can try to put out that fire before it becomes a problem. And there's other tools that you can use too that are online tools. There's one called Guild Quality that it sends a questionnaire to your clients after you finish a project, and they fill out all these answers, and then that's another way to kind of mitigate those bad reviews before they go to Google, and start posting there. So, all right, and then just make sure with Google Maps that you fill out all your profile information. Don't leave your intro paragraph blank. You also want to put in your services there too. So just make sure you have it as full as possible and put in, your ideal keywords in there as well. So, okay. Free stock photos. So there's, a dime a dozen, I would say, stock photo sites out there. There's some of the big players like Big Stock and iStock, but there are two specifically here that I use, particularly Pexels is the one that I turn to a lot for just, a silly social media post. I'll go to Pexels and get pretty good images from there. So these are free stock photos that you can use, for a variety of things without having to pay. And they're pretty good quality. So you always, there's going to be some specific images that you hit a wall and you're like, oh man, they don't have it. And then also you have to take it with, some knowledge is, okay, this is free stock photos. So other people are probably using them too. So it's not super unique, but that's a place where you can go to grab some of those free stock photos. This tool is a file converter tool. I just used it about an hour before hopping on the call this afternoon, but you can go on there and easily convert a file in like less than a minute. So one of my clients has sent me a few PDFs of their really images that I wanted to use for social media. And so I just upload them to Convertio's. I don't know how to say Convertio. And upload those PDFs, and I choose, hey, I want a JPEG or a PNG, and just instantly I get to download it, and just a minute later. So it's really helpful. But I will say, word of caution, you don't want to use this if you're trying to convert something for like a high quality print piece, magazine, or even like a website. You want to be careful about that because there's differences and nuances on how things are set up in one file versus another file. So you can't just willy-nilly start converting things all over the place. But I would say specifically if you're doing just something for a social media post, it's great. You can convert things pretty easily for that. And here's a snapshot, a screenshot of what it looks like. Okay. I can't talk about marketing without recommending you do an e-newsletter. So this is just kind of like, I'd say like money on the table. If you have any sort of email distribution list, even if it's just your customers that you go through a manual spreadsheet and grab, you can market to them very easily by just sending out a simple e-newsletter. The goal here is you just want to be top of mind. You want them to see your company name at the top of their inbox at least once a month, especially if you're the kind of company that is an ongoing service, like a remodeler. There are sometimes when somebody does a kitchen remodeling project, and then later on, they're going to call you and say, hey, can you do my bathroom too? So you want to be in front of them over and over again so they don't forget about you. Constant Contact and MailChimp, they're the two big players in the industry. I slightly prefer Constant Contact, but they're really pretty similar. And you can use either one. But again, like I said, it's a great way to just stay on top, of their email inbox, and just so that they don't forget about you. Alrighty, Facebook Business Suite. So Facebook has come a very long way in their management tools for social media postings. I've been using it to manage client accounts and my own account for I don't know, 10 something years now. And I've seen it come from, okay, you can't, there is no scheduler, there is no platform at all. You just have to do it in real time, to, oh, you can schedule it, but you can't do anything else. Or, oh, now you can add a video, or now you can do this, now you can add hashtags. And it's just over and over again, they keep adding more and more things to the platform, to where now, like, I used to have to use some other kind of platform, social media posting, if I wanted to do Instagram and Facebook. I now I don't even feel the need to, because there's so many options in the Facebook business suite to be able to just do it all right there. Both Facebook and Instagram, like I said. And there's, you can, upload, you can make a reel, you can do all sorts of things in there that you could not do before. So there's lots of options. Okay. This one is nationaltoday.com. I usually go on this website at the end of each month for my clients to see if there's any quirky holidays that are coming up that I can capitalize on for their social media accounts. So one of my clients does outdoor kitchens and fireplaces. So if I see, oh, it's National Shredded Pork Day, and then I'll post something on there about, hey, happy National Shredded Pork Day, use your outdoor kitchen, or call us, or something like that. So it's fun for, those kind of things, but it depends on the company. It's not going to work for everybody for their social media accounts. And just in case you were wondering, today is International I looked it up in preparation so you all could know if there was any quirky holidays today. And that's today's quirky holidays. So. All right, now we're almost to the end of our 18 tools here. Tool number 17, again, Google. It's a Google Alerts. And Google Alerts is really helpful if you have a unique company name. So if you have got Smith's Remodeling, you probably don't want to sign up for Google Alerts, because you're going to be getting every Smith's Remodeling alert notifying you in your email inbox. But if you have a really specific company, even my company, Lepp Design, is unique. Nobody else has our name. So we sign up for Google Alerts, and it's going to tell us, good or bad, if anyone has posted about us online. And that's really helpful, on the negative side of things. You can see, oh, why does that person post that? You can maybe try to contact them, maybe get it down, get them to take it down. Or positively, you can say, oh, cool, I didn't know that this news website just wrote about me. Let me share about that post on my social media pages. You can also do it as yourself, because sometimes people might talk about you individually on a news post or something. Again, if you have a unique enough name, then it makes sense. So Google Alerts is great for that. Okay, so we have the ChatGPT for our last and final tool. And like I told you earlier in our talk today, this is one of the top 2 most fun tools on the list. If you're not familiar with ChatGPT, I'll first give you a little bit of a summary of what it is. So ChatGPT, basically, it is your little personal robot friend that you can ask questions to. And they've got a whole repository of the entire internet that they are grabbing the answers for you. And so it would look something like this. So I asked the question, hey, ChatGPT, I'm teaching a webinar about 18 marketing tools. Can you tell me a few sentences about what you think the learning outcomes will be for the participants? And this is what they told me. Certainly, in this webinar on 18 marketing tools, participants can expect to gain a comprehensive understanding of diverse marketing solutions that cater to various aspects of the marketing process, blah, 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 all this stuff, right? So it's pretty smart. It's really fun. You can sit there and go back and forth with it. Oh, hey, can you shorten it? Hey, can you lengthen it? Can you make it less formal, more formal? And it's got all of the knowledge and know-how to tweak the outcomes. It's pretty amazing. So I said to them, hey, it sounds great, but can you tell that to me like a pirate? Maybe this webinar, Adventure on the High Seas of Marketing, blah, blah, blah. So it's fun. Play around with it if you haven't signed up for it already. All right, so some words of caution and just some other notes, if you will, about ChatGPT in general is I always tell people the number one thing you need to know is it is a good starting point. Say that again, a starting point. You should not just copy and paste blindly something that ChatGPT gives you and put it somewhere. Do not say, hey, ChatGPT, write me a website page about XYZ, and then without reading it, copy and paste it on your website. I don't remember exactly what it was, but I know years back that there was, or not years back, sorry, because this is brand new. Within the last year, there was some case of, I think it was a lawyer even, that he copy and pasted something from ChatGPT and he got in big trouble because he didn't read it. And there was some errors in the thing that did not match with either his services or something he was saying. So you have to read it and change it before you post it live. Number two, remember, it is a robot. So it's going to sound like a robot. So you want to try to add some warmth to it. It's good if you are not naturally a writer to give you some ideas, but you need to tweak it. Try to make it sound less robotic and more personalized. There's things that a robot cannot say that you can say with all your years of expertise and knowledge. So you can take it, again, like I said, starting point, then weave into it things that you know from your business or stories that you can tell from your experience that really just amp it up a bit and really makes it customized for you and is not blaring like ChatGPT wrote this, because you can kind of tell now sometimes. And the next one is realize it's going to repeat itself sometimes again because it's a robot. I got really excited when it first came out and I was like, oh, awesome. I can make all these pages for my client about all these products and I can do it in, half the time. And so I put it on there and I, tweaked one post and I posted it and then I put another product in there and then I looked at it and I was like, wait a minute, this already is repeating itself from the first article that it wrote. So just realize that you got it. Again, you have to tweak it. Next thing to note about it is it can be outdated. It is not up to the minute. It's not going to give you information on the Jags game last night. It's going to give you stuff from, it's going to be a little bit behind. I think there's a paid version where you can get more up-to-date information, but it's generally not up to the minute. So just be aware of that. And then it also doesn't necessarily know how to write for search engine optimization. So you need to use this in conjunction with a tool like I mentioned earlier for like the Yoast SEO tool. So use them in conjunction with each other to make sure that it's optimized properly. And then again, this is scouring the internet for information. So you want to make sure that you're not accidentally duplicating content from something else. So you could always run it through this duplicate checker. I personally haven't used this, but I recommended someone recommended it to me as a way to just kind of run your ChatGPT stuff through to make sure you're not copying someone else's content. So any questions before we close? I think I see some in the chat.
So Mindy, yeah, so Edward Cannon was asking about SEO, but I think we'll have to take that offline. But you gave 18 tips. So where do people start?
That's a good, let's see. I would say that Google Analytics would be, and that was tip number one, is kind of the baseline. I would say start there. If you you haven't used any of these tools at all, you haven't heard of them, you don't know what I'm talking about, then install Google Analytics on your website. If you have a WordPress website, you can if you have a little bit of tech know-how, you can follow the instructions for adding a plugin and then setting up Google Analytics and just following the instructions to tie the two together, because you have to put a lot of code on your website in order to, register it, if you will, in Google Analytics to be able to see those numbers. There are some plugins that will show it right there in your WordPress dashboard, so you don't have to go over to Google Analytics and log in, but you still need to make sure that they're talking to each other. So I would say that is really kind of the number one thing. And then you probably want to make sure that your Google Maps listing is set up properly as well. So kind of make sure those two things are in place. And then a lot of these other ones are like, oh, ChatGPT, if you've already done like, the other 10, play around with ChatGPT and use that. And some of them are a little bit more complex, but yeah.
Awesome. So, yeah, I thank you, Sandy. Sandy just posted in the chat that everyone who attends, and you can go through that website address to look at Build Exact, which is a great digital tool for your business. So please take a moment to do that and look at the features and benefits. And Mindy, how do people get in touch with you after this? I know you're presenting a couple times at International Builder Show. Tell us about that. Tell us how they can get in contact with you. And I definitely think you need to follow up with Edward to have a conversation about SEO specifically.
Okay. Yeah. So, Edward, if you want to just, I'd be happy to chat with you. And I see I'm just, about search engine optimization, any further questions, but this is my contact information. That's my email address right there. That's my business phone number. And then on the right is my digital business card. So if you're on a desktop computer, you can scan that QR code and then that'll take you right to my digital business card that you can add there. And then like Jennifer said, I do speak at a couple other builders conferences throughout the year. So I'll be speaking at the International Builder Show in the Remodelers Central. So it's really neat how they do it. It's like come in and get coffee and, network with people, and then you'll be able to hear a specific session. So I'll be doing one there and possibly in the Professional Women in Building room at IBS as well. So I'd love to meet all you there and, answer any other questions in person, but I love helping people with marketing. So like, don't hesitate to send me an email if you had like a question that you weren't comfortable asking here, but I'd be happy to answer it by email. And I also offer a complimentary quick marketing review for anyone who attends webinars that I teach. It's about an hour-long session where we just kind of meet via Zoom and you can ask any questions that you have about marketing. No cost and no sales. I always tell people no sales pitch. I just really enjoy doing those kind of things. And it's just a way for me to introduce, my company to you in case you need me in the future or can refer me elsewhere. So
love it. Mindy, thank you so much for your expertise, and thank you all for joining us today. Please make sure you follow up with Mindy and also click on the link in the chat and join us at Build Exact. Thanks and enjoy National Ninja Day.
Yes. All right. Thanks.